Hello, and welcome to this video on sentence structure. There are four types of sentence structure in English: simple, compound, complex, and complex compound. But before we start looking at each one, we should just take a moment to understand the difference between independent and dependent clauses, because these terms will come up a lot over the next few minutes. An independent clause stands alone in a sentence and expresses a complete thought. Have a look at the example. Planets revolve around the sun. You can see the subject of the sentence in red and the verb is in blue, and this is a complete sentence. In contrast, the dependent clause cannot stand alone, nor does it express a single thought. If you look at the example, after a star has reached the end of its life, we can see that this thought is incomplete, so we need to add another clause to understand the whole idea. After a star has reached the end of its life, it explodes. So we have a dependent clause that is connected to another clause. So now you have some idea of the difference. We'll move on to the four sentence structures. Let's start with simple. A simple sentence consists of one independent clause and must contain a subject, here in red, and a verb, here in blue. Let's look at a couple of examples. PayPal is an online payment system. The government has a responsibility to ensure the safety of its citizens. One really important thing to remember is that the subject and the verb must agree. In the two examples, PayPal and the government are organisations, so they both follow the rules for third person, so the pronoun it in this case. Moving on to compound. A compound sentence consists of two independent clauses, and these are connected with a coordinating conjunction shown here in purple. And like simple sentences, we must remember the subject and the verb, as well as making sure that these two agree. Let's look at the first sentence. It has two independent clauses. The first one is PayPal is an online payment system, and the second one is it is available in more than 200 countries. And these are connected by the coordinating conjunction and. One important thing to remember is to add the comma after the first clause, but before the coordinating conjunction. You can see it here before and but in my two examples. So that's simple and compound. Let's take a look at complex sentences next. A complex sentence is an independent clause, underlined here, and these are connected to one or more dependent clauses, shown in italics here, using a subordinating conjunction like although, here in green, or a relative pronoun like which, here in yellow. Notice that the comma goes after the dependent clause, not after the subordinating conjunction. And in the second example, as I've used a non-defining relative clause, that means the clause is extra information, the rule is to add commas before and after the dependent clause. Let's move on to the last one, complex compound. A complex compound sentence has two independent clauses, again underlined here, and one or more dependent clauses, again in italics here. So let's look at the first sentence. The two independent clauses are PayPal is available in more than 200 countries, and it only accepts 22 currencies. And the independent clause is which is an online payment system. The important thing to remember is to follow the rules for subject-verb agreement, punctuation, and the correct linking words. That's the end of this video. If you'd like some worksheets on sentence structure, you can follow this link. And if you'd like more information on other areas of academic writing, you can follow this link. Thank you.